Hey guys, and welcome back to Warhammer Weekend Times. I'm your host Stan, and today we've got a 2v2 field battle featuring Brettonia, commanded by Macaroni Grill, and his ally, who is going to be playing as the Vampire Counts, and King of the North, who's playing as the Vampire Counts. And then over here we have Richard, who's playing as the Dwarves, and then First Class Mint over here playing as the Minions of Tzeentch. But let's go ahead and go over the army comps and see what these guys are bringing. But First Class Mint has 2 units of Chaos Warriors with halberds, and he's also got a very long line of Marauder axe throwers up in front. His infantry corps is going to consist mostly of Chaos Warriors. I think he's got 4 units of these, and he's got 2 units of Tzeentch Chosen. In the back, he's got a unit of Chosen Knights of Tzeentch. I think he's got, yeah, just 1 unit of these, but this is his general unit here. And he's also got 2 units of Chaos Warrior, or Chaos Knights, I'm sorry guys. And then over here, he's got a Lord of Change, a very expensive unit, but can be extremely devastating if used properly. But let's see, he is going to be up against Brettonia. Brettonia is bringing a very heavy cav army, but that is typical of the Brettonian roster. But Macaroni Grill has 2 units of Peasant Bowmen. He's also got a unit of Battle Pilgrims with Grail Reliquae, and a couple units of Men-at-Arms Spearmen, and then a couple units of Men-at-Arms. Actually, guys, he's only got 1 Halberd unit. I'm sorry. He's also got, I think, 4 units of Knights of the Realm. He's got a couple units of Grail Knights as well, and then he's also got a unit of Questing Knights over here. And I think, yeah, that's about it, guys. That's pretty much. Oh, and he's also got 2 units of Trebuchets. How could I forget? Devastating siege engines. Over here for King of the North's army, he's got a very long line of Skeleton Warriors for his main line. Behind them, he's got some Graveguard Halberds, I think 2 units of these, and then 2 units of Graveguards. He's also got a Screaming Skull Catapult, and then a couple units of Drakenhof Guard, I think 2 units of Drakenhof Guard, and then a unit of Dismounted Blood Dragons. For his cav, he's got a unit of Blood Dragon Knights, 2 units of Knights of the Black Grail, and then 2 units of Vampire Black Knights. So he's bringing a very strong army. Oh, he's also bringing 2 units of Skeleton Spears, 1 unit over here, and 1 unit on this flank, and then way out here he's got a unit of Cairn Wraiths. I don't know if he meant to deploy them out here or if they kind of got lost kind of out in the, when he was deploying his other units. That happens. I've definitely done that before. But for Richard's army, he's bringing 3 units of Iron Drakes, really devastating units, 4 units of Dwarf Warriors, 4 units of Prince Ulther's Dragon Company. He's also bringing 2 units of Miners. They're in here somewhere. Here they are. And then a unit of Elders as well. And then he's also got 2 units of Longbeards, but they also got left out of their deployment. So he's got 1 over here, and then 1 way out here. So very, very far away from the main group of units. But if this were actually, if King of the North decides to pursue these guys and arrives at them too late, he may get into range of these Iron Drakes, and that would be very, very bad for him, because these Iron Drakes have a very very potent kill potential. But over here, it looks like Macaroni Grill is going to be the first one to start engaging. He is going to be sending up his Grail Knights and his 2 units of Knights of the Realm to engage against First Class Mint. And First Class Mint is going to answer back with some of his Chaos Knights. He's only going to send 1 unit though, so this could be kind of bad for him. 3 units of those Knights of the Realm, or 2 units of the Knights of the Realm, and then the Grail Knights, which I think the Grail Knights are multiple HP. Would do a lot of damage to these Chaos Knights, but they are going to clash right here, and the Chaos Knights are actually going to hold their position very effectively. But then First Class Mint is going to take this opportunity to move up his Lord of Change into a very advantageous position, and hopefully try and snipe some of these Knights of the Realm and Grail Knights over here. But Macaroni Grill is going to realize what he's doing and then pull back his cav units. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Just in time, and he is going to miss the shot there. And Macaroni Grill is going to actually try and charge back in, but First Class Mint is going to realize that his cav is outmatched at that point, and then pull back his Chaos Knights. He does still have his Lord of Change out here, and I think he's going to try and still fire at some of these Knights of the Realm. If he can get a really good piercing shot he can absolutely devastate this unit. And here they go, guys. They are going to be charging headlong into them, but he is going to barely miss these Knights of the Realm, just shooting just shy of them. But they're going to charge in, and he's going to pull back into the safety of the lines. And then these Marauder Axe Throwers are going to start reloading, and they are going to unload their volleys into this Knights of the Realm unit and just devastate the numbers in here, almost cutting the entire unit almost in half. He's going to, First Classman is going to kind of pursue a little bit with his Chaos Knights, though, and push them up. And it does look like a little bit of an engagement is going on over here with the Dwarves and the Vampire Counts. Richard's still holding strong. He is kind of pushed up, though, out of the safety of some of his stakes that he's laid down. That's going to make him a little vulnerable to cavalry. And in come some of these Vampire Black Knights. They are going to be charging in into these Dwarf Warriors because they became a very big target as soon as they abandoned those stakes. And he's going to charge in and have a very effective charge right there, killing quite a few of those Dwarves. And you can see the Screaming Skull Catapult volleys coming in, hitting some of these Iron Drakes and causing them, or actually, yeah, hitting some of these Longbeards and not really causing them any morale problems. But those Iron Drakes are going to fire into these Vampire Black Knights and do quite a bit of damage to the unit, picking off a few of them in that volley. Have actually a pretty good range on those Iron Drakes. The volleys are going to be coming in, though, and causing these units to shake. If you get hit with about all 4 of those volleys directly into the units, it usually can rout. Even a very healthy unit. At this point, Richard is going to start pushing his units up, though, and you typically don't see this of the Dwarves. They usually play very, very defensively, but he's actually playing a little offensively with his units and kind of rushing in to meet the Vampire Counts. He is a little bit at a hill disadvantage. The Vampire Counts are kind of at the very peak of this, but he is going to be sending in his light, cheap Skeleton Warrior fodder units to kind of hold these Dwarves back. While no doubt he gets his cav in position, he still has all these cav back here. That Vampire Black Knight unit took a little bit of a singeing, but it really wasn't too detrimental. Over here we can see the siege engine of these. Oh, that was a really good shot there. These terrible trebuchets firing in. Honestly, one of the nastiest artillery units in the game. I said recently Hellstrom Rocket Battery probably could have been the strongest artillery unit in the game, but I had honestly forgotten about the trebuchets. They do a lot of damage. I think you probably pump out a quicker amount of damage with the Hellstrom Rocket Battery, but I think that the trebuchets were going to probably do a lot more damage throughout the whole battle. They have just a huge area of impact, though. Look at that. One volley, or or not really volley, but one, flaming boulder, and that does a ton of damage to that unit. The Lord of Change is here. It looks like he's trying to fire away into these Knights of the Realm, but I think his Chaos Knights are going to be a little bit too close. And well, maybe not. It does look like he fired there. It does look, actually, yeah, he does look like he's firing into these Knights of the Realm. He did singe one unit there, but he is at kind of a funny angle, and he's going to be firing kind of into the ground right here. If you had a little bit more of an arc, you would be getting some better hits, but he's going to notice that, and First Classman is going to move up his Lord of Change just a little bit, and let's see if we can get a good shot here and see. Well, he's just going to idle. I don't know. He's not firing now, so that can be a problem sometimes. But it does look like he's going to commit the rest of his infantry force into against Brettonia's cav and the kind of pretty, underwhelming infantry force that Macaroni Grill has. But typically that's not what Brettonia is known for. They're known for their terribly effective cav coming in and just wiping units just off the face of the earth. But they are going to be moving up in this engagement. It does look like there's a big blob of fighting over here against these Questing Knights and Knights of the Realm and Grail Knights. These Chaos Knights over here are going to be fighting. It does look like, I think, these Chosen Knights of Tzeentch are in here as well. A good volley coming in, though, from those Marauder Axe Throwers, but they're going to be firing into the front of the Questing Knights, which they get their shield block bonus if that's the case. So they're not going to be quite nearly as effective as they were in that first volley. Back over here, it does look like King of the North is lining up to get some really good shots, or some really good cap charges into the backs of these Iron Drakes, which looks like they're going to already be working in on some of these weaker Vampire Count units. He does have his Grave Guards kind of marching kind of through each other. That's kind of a cool look there, actually, but they're kind of separating out here as he looks like he makes almost kind of a box. I'm not sure if that's his intention or not, but that's really cool to see that happen like that. But the Prince Arthur's Dragon Company are doing a very good job. High defensive units are going to be fighting against some of these skeleton warriors, and they're going to be kind of getting cut down very, very quickly. But then the Grave Guard are going to be sent up and reinforcing their weaker skeleton brethren against these dwarf warriors. And I think, oh, here we go, guys. Some more shots from those Iron Drakes, picking off some of these Grave Guard halberdiers. Man, that is really effective coming in like that, even though they're kind of spaghetti line like they want to be, or kind of, you know, at a very kind of lengthied out deployment. Just eviscerating these flanks on these kind of blobs of infantry engagements on these Grave Guard. It's a good thing that these undead units can't rout, because that typically would cause a lot of fear in other units. But he's doing a very good job at kind of slicing off these blobs as they kind of overwhelm his dwarf warriors. But in come some of these Blood Dragon Knights against some of these miners. That's going to be really a good use of his cav micro. These Iron Drakes are still going to be firing in, but he really needs to be focusing on the cav. If he can pick off these cavalry, that would help him immensely, because right now the dwarves are really at their weakest, I think, against cav when they're not hidden behind their stakes. They almost, at that point, unless you're fighting another faction like Lizardmen that don't really have a lot of cavalry options, you're going to really have to play defensively and try and avoid cav. But cav is so strong in Medieval 2, it puts a faction at an extreme disadvantage to not have them. They are very good in sieges, though, but just their use in field battle is I have really not seen them come out on top very often, unless they just totally camp a hill, or just make a really strong box. But at that point, it's people typically don't like that kind of play style if you're playing overly defensive, or if you deploy way in the back. But it's really cool to see Richard actually charging out the dwarves and kind of rushing in with them. Over here, it does look like that some of these trebuchets are going to be picking off a lot of those kind of far-off Chaos Cavalry units. It does look like that the Lord of Change is still alive, and he looks like he's going to be trying to pick off some of these Grail Knights. That looked really inappropriate. Oh my god. But it does say he's firing, but I don't see him firing, and sometimes they can get caught not being able to fire. When their infantry units are a little too close, sometimes you got to move them around. But he is going to be taking shots from these peasant bowmen, and it does look like he's going to start, or Macaroni Grill is going to start allocating a lot of trebuchet fire to this Lord of Change, and hopefully getting some good shots in there. But he is going to realize that he's not firing and just charge his Lord of Change in and use him as a melee unit. He's going to come in, get a couple good kills in that charge, knock over some other units. Man, these troops are getting in my way a little bit. And kind of wade into combat. He is kind of a little too close for the trebuchets, because they fire, they have a big chance of hitting his own line, and that would free up some of his other Chaos Warriors. But Macaroni Grill is doing a really good job at hammer and anviling some of these Chaos Warriors and Tzeentch Chosen. He is kind of charging these Knight Errant in back and forth. I don't think he got a long enough run up onto the Chaos Warriors. But Tzeentch's general is going to go down there, and that's not going to be good, because right now it's really not looking good for his army. He's kind of down to a handful of infantry units. He does still have his Lord of Change, but you can't really win the whole battle just solely on these greater demon units. He is going to wade into combat, though, and start picking off some of these Knights of the Realm. That's going to be really good. He's got a fast attack animation, and as these guys pull out, hopefully he might be able to get some good shots in there, but he's actually going to chase them. He's very quick. He's considered a missile cav unit, so that's that. So he does have that technical classification, which can come into play a lot when you see, like, pike or halberd units. The Dwarf General is going to go down there, so both teams, both Richard and First Class Mint, have lost their generals. Or I guess both players on that team have lost their generals, not both teams. But the Drakenhof Guard and the Grave Guard are going to be slowly cutting into the numbers of these Prince Ulther's Dragon Company. They're getting to be very tired, while the Vampire Count units are still very fresh. One of them is winded a little bit, but it's not really a big deal. And charge more of these Drakenhof Guard into this big engagement with these Elders and these Longbeards. And then back out here, we do see a lot of these Knights of the Black Grail still circling around, trying to pick off some of these Longbeards. And it does look like hopefully he's going to get a good charge with these Blood Dragon Knights in just a minute. It looks like he's going to be charging them up into these Miners, and down go the Lances, and they are going to go straight into the backs of those Dwarves, and he's going to pick off that unit really effectively. Not many left in that unit, but Miners are very effective at picking off high HP units, so that's going to effectively eliminate a big threat that those Blood Dragon had to them. But the Elders are going to be kind of holding here. Elders are a very strong unit. They do technically have a gunpowder attack, but I don't see them using it. Sometimes they'll use it even when they're engaged in melee, but I think that has a lot to do with whether or not you're sitting on fire at will, because sometimes when you are in, your first line of men are engaged, the rest of the unit will still be firing. You can do that with a lot of bowman units or javelin units. But it does look very grim for the Dwarves right now. They have this kind of little unit right here, or blob of units, and in come the Blood Dragon Knights, and they're going to charge straight into these Dwarves and do quite a bit of damage. The Dwarves are holding, though, very well. They're not shaken. Their morale is very high, so you don't typically see a lot of routing. But these Prince Ulther's Dragon Company are going to be wavering, but they have only got 18 left in the unit, and they are fighting against units that do cause fear. And they are kind of on their own. There's only 2 technical units in here, one at 4-3, one at 17. And as they get lower and lower and lower, they're going to start to rout a little more, become shaken and waver. And once they do rout, it's going to be pretty much it. Yeah, like I said, guys, Richard can't do much at this point. Once Dwarves kind of get down to this numbers, they have no weapon teams and just really their infantry, and the other team has cavalry. That can be really detrimental. And pretty much, be the end of the game. But Richard's going to admit defeat right there. And then over here, I think we've still got the Lord of Change fighting a little bit. And he's going to get charged in by these Grail Knights. Cavalry charges actually are very effective against some of these bigger units. Some more cav charging in, and as they are going to be trying to whittle down this massive, just monstrous bird. And he is going to be swinging at these guys, taking them out kind of one by one. 2 there. I don't think he's got quite the big AoE attack that you see with like the Bloodthirster or the Great Unclean One. I really haven't seen the Slanesh Greater Demon used very often either, but that's kind of just how that works. And then as he admits defeat, he is going to lose his Lord of Change, and that is going to pretty much be the battle, guys. Really a fun one to watch. Some really cool shots of artillery and those Iron Drakes doing a really cool job. But that was the game, guys. These are the kills here. Macaroni Girl getting quite a few kills, killing most of First Class Mint's army. Richard, he deployed quite a few, lost about, most of them, lost about 1,000 of them. So a lot of these units still, I think a lot of these units routed. Well, I guess technically he admitted defeat, so those would be the ones that routed. Because typically dwarf units have a pretty good morale, especially the higher tier multiple HP units. But anyway, guys, let's take a look at the kills. 206 kills with this Grail Knight unit, 108 with this Knights of the Realm, 134 with this other Grail Knight unit. Really good kill count there. His Trebuchet is getting 116 and 55, so pretty good kills on these. I think the Trebuchets are pretty cheap. I think they're only like 2,000 or 3,000. I could be wrong on that, but again, they are a very effective anti-infantry artillery unit. But anyway, guys, that was the game. I hope you guys liked it. If you guys want to send me battle replays, you can always send them in to me at WarhammerWeekEndTimes@gmail.com. Always looking for more cinematic, really cool replays like this. So, but anyway, guys, like I said, I hope you guys liked it. And if y'all ever want to send me in those replays, go ahead. And I hope you guys have a great day.